Hey folks, Will here. Um, so as promised, we're going to be playing a bonus round against the winner of the latest Scrabble Go community tournament, and that is Marvi. So congrats to Marvi on winning. And just, I actually think what I want to do is have this be a window capture. So I'll just have this be the intro, and then after that, once I get my interface set up, I'll be able to draw on the screen and show you guys what I'm thinking a little better. So um, I'll be back in just a minute to play my first move. All right, let's see how this works. So um, I'm going to try and just enable this. Yeah, okay, so I can draw on the screen and show you guys what I'm thinking. So, all right, Marvy opens with Canoe. CANOE, four of, or rather five of the better letters in the bag for bingoing. And of course, I've drawn the first blank. So with this rack, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that if there is a 7 or 8 letter word here, it's going to be very low probability. It's going to be one of those words you have to reach deep into your memory banks to find, even if you have been studying the dictionary. So I'm definitely going to need to take a minute and look through each of the letters in turn. I mean, ideally, I would play something through the C because it scores 3 points compared to the other tiles worth just one. Or if I could find a word ending in E or starting with E, but it feels much likelier that a word like this would end in E. Those would be the places to play. So might need to fast forward through my thinking time here just so we're not watching me iterate through the alphabet a bunch of times for minutes on end. With a rack like this, the thing that pops out is you have two tiles that score a ton of points. Those tiles that score a ton of points typically aren't as helpful with your blank to get a bingo down. So I'd like to score with my K and W and use the I while I'm at it. So a play that pops out as a good play would be just wink for 19. It accomplishes all those goals, sets up my T going across. Love to get a word going across there. But there are possibilities of playing something like this. 32, that's significantly higher scoring. It has the negative of leaving two I's, and it makes a hook of Kawa with an A. That it's not particularly damaging, but I don't have an A. So another idea would just be playing something like, if I want to use one of the I's, I can play iCat. I was going to say catty, but iCat is better. WI, not really what you want to keep for bingoing, though. In fact, I would almost say that just wait would be better than that, even though it scores so many fewer. There's also the word kawaii through here. 26. Gives good scoring lanes back, but leaving just T blank is pretty good. You're very likely to get overrun by vowels if you do a play like that. It scores a bit better than just wink too. The nice thing about kawaii as well is that a lot of the plays that Marvi can make here will just go straight down here, score a lot of points, but then if I draw well enough, they can give me the potential back for a really big counterplay. So maybe I'm leaning towards that as the intermediary between wink and then the plays here that score pretty well. So let's can't give up the idea that there's something I'm missing here, but let's just go for this And let's hope that the game proceeds the way that I hope it will, with a play down here and then a triple through the two triples. Let's hope for the best. And I think what I'll do is, after the game is over, I will analyze what I might have missed, just going back through each of these clips and seeing if there were any plays that I had left on the board. So right off the bat, not sure if I'll get to play it next turn, but I have something like Bird Bath that scores quite nicely. I also have Birthday. The problem with both of these plays, of course, is that they're going to make an absolutely enormous hook right here. So let's see what letter comes down here. And we'll... Oh, I also have... There must be stuff also that I have through the E, like breadth. Or I have hard boot. There's a couple other things that I'm sure I have available, but yeah, maybe breadth is a better idea here than bird bath. Well, no, I mean, we'll see. It's tricky. We'll see what I have to work with next turn. Okay, have another turn in. I can see that I'm trailing after Marvi's next play. Let's see where she plays. Pained. Okay. So unfortunately for me, the play that I was hoping for right here did not materialize, and I'm now have to choose between some very dangerous ideas. So something like Birthday or Bird Bath will play in this spot, but will make an enormous S hook where if she happens to have one, that's going to really, really hurt. So another option is just to play something with Canoed or Canoer. And let's just see how the scores stack up again, because this is the next day now. So this is 77. As opposed to Birthday, which is going to be a lot of points. So basically it's all in 84. It's actually, you know what? It's not that many fewer. So I think this is just such a dangerous S hook to create that I think I'm gonna experiment with, like, maybe this is the idea. 73. That's a lot fewer. So okay. I guess I'm leaning towards this, if only because the resulting S hook on breadth is not nearly as bad. It is a fairly significant point sacrifice. I don't think I'm missing any. I mean, I have breathed and stuff through the E, but that's going to score even fewer. So a lot of points to give up. But in general, you just have to be a little bit more careful against a strong human opponent who is likelier to be keeping that valuable S on their leave, waiting for an opportunity to score well with it. And putting such a huge bingo out in space with Birthday or Bird Bath is really a recipe to... If she is keeping that S, it's going to hit me super hard. So let's play this and move on. That is a pretty significant point sacrifice. So we'll see if I end up regretting that. And let's see what I draw. Oh, wow. Okay, so I drew the British city of Torquay here, where the World Scrabble Championship is often held, but that is not a word, but right off the bat you can see that there's going to be huge potential to play a Q word in that spot if it doesn't get taken up. So if not for that, it's going to be a little bit trickier to find a good spot for the Q, but certainly not impossible, as I do have a play here that will use it up on a triple. So we'll see what Marvi plays on her next move. Okay, here comes another turn. Let's let's see where Marvi plays. Okay, so down to the triple. That leaves my cue wide open for this huge spot, which I cannot possibly imagine that this is not the right play. 62 points burning the cue. That's very, very lucky. So let's just play it. See what we get with TOR. Oh man. Okay, so no shortage of ideas here. We have something like XO for the X. That would leave the Z. I'm sure that there are plays with the Z here. Do I have anything here? Maybe not there. Also the X fits here, something like OXO if that's taken. So the X is very, very lucrative here, and the Z, even better tile to leave for next turn. So drawing a lot of the good stuff in this game so far through no fault of Marvi's. Okay, let's play our next move. So Marvi plays Gen there. Okay, so right off the bat, I see if I keep ZA together, I'll have a pretty nice play. Actually, it's even better there. So a 52-point play in that spot, and then of course I already have very good plays in this spot. 55, 43. So maybe the best idea is to play my Z now, and that way, the reason I would do the Z first is that I really only have the one good spot for it right here. Whereas if I keep the X for next turn, I have two spots for it that are going to score, roughly 50 points apiece. So Z first, then the X is probably my best bet to hit both of these tiles really hard. So I'll bomb my Z first, and typically it's better to keep the Z being a slightly better tile than the X. But in this particular situation, I think this is a very reasonable option. So let's do it. See what I pair with this X. And just another R and O. So it certainly seems it's just what the doctor ordered to, play off OX by itself. Maybe if that spot gets blocked, saving a decent set of bingo tiles if she decides to open the board. Okay, another move is in. Let's have a look. So Marvi plays Sue for 17. Immediate thought when you see a play like that is that the odds of her holding another S are quite high. That's why she would spend that one for 17 points. Whoops. When you do have an S, I don't know, I just said something about my blue stacks. Hopefully it doesn't crash. So basically I have to keep that in mind with whatever I do on my next move. So I still have this really high scoring play here. The scary thing about this though is if she were to have a really good set of bingo tiles, it would play along this row with something like ER, ED, all of those things would play in this spot. All she would need is a consonant that played opposite EE. So I think it's as nice as the 55 points would be. I think I probably favor playing something in this area. So something like OXO, 43. I actually see, I hadn't seen this before, but I see that I have a play of Retox here for 54. That's a lot of points. It opens this area up to reopen the board, but for 54 points, it might be worth it. Let me think about this. I mean, I'm up by 100, and this board position is really ironclad. So even though I'm taking a pretty significant point sacrifice to play this instead of retox, my leave is a little bit better. If Marvi were to open the board, I at least keep this ER combination. I don't love keeping the two Rs, but in general, this is a little bit more balanced of a leave, closer to bingoing than just ORR after retox in the same spot. And just the idea of putting that R here and allowing Marvi to reach this triple and open a ton of new lanes in the process. I think I have an easier time holding onto my lead by playing Oxo, so I'm going to do that. It leaves a lot of points on the table, 10 points or so, but I think the long-term benefits will justify it. Just continuing this really tight board with very poor opportunities. So I drew, if I do get an E available, I'll be able to play Potterer. Do I have anything through that A down there? I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, this is Parrot. So, all right, I think I haven't drawn a bingo, but it's very possible that if Marvi does have something good, she will open the board and I will get an E to play through to counter bingo with Potterer. So we'll see what happens. Okay, very quickly. I think this is one of the few hours of the day. We are on opposite sides of the world, so one of the few hours of the day that we're each awake. Okay, so she bingos. Nice play. It looks like I am not getting that E out in space, so Uranus doesn't give a ton back. I should still be okay, if only because board is still really unappealing. So there are now lanes here that need to be addressed, and there's now kind of a weak lane here that needs to be addressed. So it certainly seems like just to play, there might be some parallel play here that makes sense, going all the way down. Oh, this looks nice. So at the very least, I have this, like the Roman official. So that scores pretty well. It closes all of the lanes that just opened at a cost of, there are more lanes in this area of the board, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be a reasonable play here, unless, let me just quickly imagine, could I be missing something? And I really don't think so through these letters. So, okay, so I'm going to go with this. This looks like a really good play to, like I said, close a lot off and score pretty well. So let's do that and see what happens. So I'm still up by about 100. Let's see what I draw. All right, so I drew the second blank, so I'm really having no issues drawing really good tiles in this game. Let's see, can I find something from this A? Fanniest is not word. Fontinas does not fit. If I do get, okay, very quickly. So Marvi must be here playing, so we'll see if we can get some turns in. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be anywhere to play infants on this board. So it really is just with this rack, obviously I'm looking at the vowels just because I only have the one, but through this A there could definitely be something. So I need to just quickly think about that. Otherwise, it's certainly, I'm not gonna have issues just playing my S here and playing Sift. I don't love keeping N blank, but it scores reasonably well. The N does play here. Oh wow, I had this up the whole time. Sorry. There. So the N does play in that spot right there, so it's not the worst tile to keep, even though I have two of them. But I just want to make sure I do my due diligence through this A. Okay, I think I'm ready to call it a day. Looking for bingos there. Okay, so I'll just play Sift and see what happens. Hopefully I didn't miss anything, but I'm still in pretty good shape here. We'll see what we draw. All right. Still not quite enough vowels. Let's see. Oh, I think batoning. Yeah, I think this is a good, I think that in Collins, this is a word. Yeah, okay. So there is a word that I'm threatening if it stays open. Let's see. What else? I really don't think there's going to be any sevens with this. I'm pretty much committed to hoping to hit this A. Okay. So we'll give Marvi a minute, and then perhaps we'll see if I get my bingo or if I have to do something else. All right, new turn. Let's see. Okay, terrible letters. So Marvi has just played Philly E. That's literally the only 5-letter word that has 3 I's in it. It's only good in the International Collins Dictionary, so she's drawing terribly. I can't emphasize that enough, and I have a bingo. She didn't open anything new, so I really don't think there's anything other than this. And that's going to be tough. Now I'm up by a lot on a very poor board, so I've drawn both blanks, a bunch of S's. There's another S in addition, so clearly I'm just drawing very well, and I have possible plays here. At the very least, something like Zhu is going to score very well with the J. Maybe I have some other way of doing that, but with that doesn't use the S. But again, it's not really a big deal to use the S at this point with no good spots. Oh, okay. So she plays Caney. Yeah, just getting to the end of this game. In her shoes, I would feel much the same way, just having drawn really, really bad letters as she has. So I'll just pop my J for a lot of points, I think. And I still have pretty good scoring tiles. So I always like to alphabetize. That's how I study. I'm looking, putting an F here, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be probably a relatively uninteresting end of the game. I think I'm imagining maybe Foy being a decent play here, leaving EEIM. Let's just quickly see the remaining tiles in the bag. It looks like there are 3, 4, 5, 6 vowels. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Yeah, okay, so 12 remaining in the bag, so it looks like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 13. That's what it should be. If there's 6 vowels, there should be 19 tiles total, so that's 13 consonants. Yeah, I mean, I have this F spot here, FT, not a very good combination. So anyway, I'll hop away from this for a minute, and then once Marvi's played her turn, we'll finish off the game. But again, I've drawn amazingly well, so that's really the story of the game more than anything else. Okay, time for another turn as we wrap this game up, which has been certainly a very lopsided draw in my favor. So Marvi plays lid. It's not too much going on this board. I had said before that maybe the F there is reasonable. I have a Lido hook. That doesn't really help me. I can use one more tile than here if I just play through the D, if I play Edify. Seems pretty good. Not much to think about here. This game is pretty well decided, so we'll play this and see what we draw. Mirome. I mean, these plays aren't going to play anywhere. The board is so tight. Imagining maybe something playing under here, but probably not. Maybe just a mirror. I mean, is this the best I can do? 24, maybe. So, okay, that's it for that turn. We'll see what is in store here. Okay, another turn potentially being played here. Olid. Okay, so that blocked my hopeful play of Emir in that spot. So not that I'm complaining. I guess in this situation, if I was going to try to win by as much as possible, I would look at the bag and I would see if there are any bingos that play here. Doesn't really look like there are, so I don't have to be that defensive. Plus, again, I am up by more than a safe margin. So, okay, I guess in the interest of just finishing the game, I will play remote. The thing that I like about this play is that it sets my other M up right there for good scores, depending on what I draw. So it blocks the T, sets my M up. Very good likelihood that she will just play alongside this spot and block anyway, but that's okay. We'll play this and just get to the end of the game. Let's see what's in the bag. There were 3 tiles. I'm going to get 3 on my rack, and yeah, sure enough, if she were to leave this spot open, I'll have a nice play of Ohm for 33. Although the VE is going to be a little bit tough to deal with on my next play. It looks like maybe the only place I would have to play it is there. So she might be able to block my V. Oh no, she can't. I have Vita. So yeah, that looks like how the end game is likely to play out. So we'll give her a chance to see that I've submitted my move, and we'll be back with the last couple moves of the game. Yep, let's see. So, no surprise. She does block that spot. It is going to give me... actually, okay, she has LN on her rack. So theoretically, it should be possible for me to... block her outs. So let me see. It looks like she can play Lin or Nil in that spot. Where else could she play LN here? Again, this is, this is just as a longtime player, sometimes I guess maybe it could be frustrating to my opponents when I try to solve these endgame puzzles, even in games where I'm winning by a lot, but I feel like it's good practice to always do your best to solve that puzzle. So the reason that I'm thinking about that is if I play vote leaving HM, she's going to play nil underneath here and go out, and I won't get another turn. So I think what I need to do is play something like Moth. If I play Moth now, I don't think she'll have anywhere to play out, and I will be threatening Dev, which actually, given that she has LN, once I play Moth up high like this, she literally will have no way to stop me from playing Dev as my second play in this spot. With just those two consonants, none of those play anywhere here. So I'll have an unblockable play in that spot. So I think that's what we'll do. I guess it is worth considering, maybe, do I work out better if I play Meth instead? VO? No, I think this is worse because I don't have any outplays that I'm threatening. So we'll play Moth. And again, this would matter in a much closer game. This would be an important distinction between all the different plays here. If the game were really, really close, this might squeak me through. So getting into the habit of figuring out those end game puzzles, even in games where you're either winning by a lot or losing by a lot, is really good practice for the games when it's the difference between winning and losing. Just a little bit of insight into how I approach these. I imagine that Marvi's going to come through with her final move, which I think, unless I'm missing something, is going to be just one of her two tiles. Let's see if I can predict what she'll play. She has LN. Actually, in my Better Know a Letter video about the L, I discuss that LN is kind of a unappealing two-tile combination, which is sort of bad news. Okay, so she does play Nur, leaving the L, and I'm going to go out with Dev. So, okay. So I think what I'll probably do now is just take a quick look, look over the game. Well, maybe I'll just post it. I think what I'll just do is I'll post the videos and then watch after, and maybe in the comments of my YouTube video or in the description, I will discuss any moves that I feel could have been substantively different, which I always like to look at my completed games in that way. But obviously, good game to Marvi. I drew extremely well in this game, but nevertheless, Marvi was the winner of the previous Scrabble Go tournament. This is just the bonus round. And hopefully she continues to compete. I've watched a couple of her games, and she's a really good player. So when the tiles are reversed, if we ever do this again, I have no doubt that it can easily be a different outcome with Marvi coming out on top next time. So, all right, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you got something out of it. And if you liked it, we can make this a regular feature for the community tournaments.